What's up guys, Ryan here from Mudgunner. Today we're talking AR finishes and more specifically spray paint versus Cerakote, but we're also going to talk about anodizing. So I have a couple ARs right here and they're all finished in a different way. And I think it really comes down to personal preference, but I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of both spray paint and Cerakote and anodizing. And spoiler alert, I like them all for different reasons. So we're going to start with anodizing because that's the most common you're ever going to see. So what we have here is just an all black AR-15, and this would be an anodized AR-15. It's a Colt AR, and this is the gold standard, like by far. It is very efficient. The finish lasts a long time. It's scratch resistant. It's relatively corrosion resistant. I've never had like rust problems with my ARs, so I would say this is the go-to. And it's very nice. It's appealing, but I think a lot of people nowadays would like some color to their guns, especially me. I'm really big into like flat dark earth guns, which we have a few of them here, but I also like the gray man gun. So we got like a Daniel Defense here in gray Cerakote. So I do like some color on guns, but a traditional all black gun looks amazing as well. And again, it's very scratch resistant. You shouldn't have any issues with it. And what's nice with a traditional black AR, since these are normally made out of aluminum, there's touch-up kits that you can get. So if you've dropped it or scratched it, same thing with your optics, you can get what's called Alumina Black, and it's just a touch-up kit. You get a Q-tip, you dip it in the Alumina Black like jar, and you just touch the aluminum, the bare aluminum that you might have nicked on your gun, and it basically chemically changes it black. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I've used it on optics and guns before, and it works pretty well. I was also using Sharpies before that, but Sharpies don't look as good. So again, this is just a standard anodized AR. And while we're at it, I also pulled out my Honey Badger here because this is still technically an anodized AR. This is clear anodizing, and I don't know the whole science behind it. I've never anodized a gun before, but instead of anodizing it black, this is clear anodized. So depending on the type of aluminum, it turns different colors after the anodizing process. So my rail is gray and the upper and lower receiver are kind of a tannish color. I don't even know what you'd call it. But yeah, anodizing these, because they're different types of aluminum, they turn different colors. So not all Q Honey Badgers or their other products look the same after their anodizing process. But yeah, those are my two anodized ARs. And then let's do Cerakote. So I have a couple Cerakote guns here. This one's one that I don't think I've shown on the channel before, but this is a Cobalt Kinetics Chris Kyle edition. Now this is old Cobalt Kinetics before they had ownership change. I don't know the whole story behind it, but I own a modern Cobalt and this one. They're both very nice. But yeah, this is a Chris Kyle edition Cobalt Kinetics Glory, and it's pretty nice. I've shot it a couple times so far. But yeah, this is a Cerakote, and this is in kind of a cool American flag Cerakote, and it's also battle worn. I'll get you guys a closer view of it. So it does have some black coming through on like the brown color, and it's done on purpose as a battle worn color. Now I know not everyone likes the battle worn finish on guns. I'm not always a fan, but on this gun, it looks really nice. Again, this is the Glory model. So this is a tribute gun to Chris Kyle. If you don't know who he is, look up the story American Sniper. He has the book that he wrote on it, and then they made the movie about him. But yeah, this is a very nice finished AR, and Cerakote is probably the best finish you want to do if you want to preserve whatever paint job you're doing on the gun. It lasts a long time. It's almost as durable as anodizing, but it still has its limits because obviously if you drop it, you're gonna scratch it, you're gonna get down to the aluminum at some point. So it is a professional paint job, but it still has limitations. And I really like Cerakote. It looks good and you can customize it anyway. Like there are crazy pattern jobs or whole gun themes just based around Cerakote that you can't necessarily do with spray paint unless you're one of those Vegas street artists. Those guys are actually pretty sick. But yeah, Cerakote, you can make it however you want as long as you have a good Cerakote artist. But yeah, this one looks amazing. They have a Chris Kyle stamp on the stock right here. And I really enjoy Cerakote. And then we have just a more traditional one right here. This is a Daniel Defense V11 in their Tornado Gray finish. So it's just one solid Cerakote color on the entire gun, and it's Tornado Gray. It looks very cool, kind of looks like the Sig Virtus Gray. And this is just one solid color, and then they make a lot of furniture in gray now too. So we got the Magpul Gray sling, we got the Daniel Defense stock and pistol grip, and then we got some other accessories. So gray and black looks really good, but yeah, this is just a one solid color Cerakote on an AR. And what's nice is normally if you buy an AR black versus a Cerakoted AR, it's not too much of a price difference. As long as they like do it before they build it up, it's only about $100 difference normally. And if you want your own gun Cerakoted, a lot of companies will do it I don't know exactly how much it costs. I haven't taken any of my guns to go get Cerakote before because honestly, I just buy them in whatever color I want. And yeah, I really like what's out there nowadays. But if you want to get your gun Cerakoted, you can turn any gun almost any color. They're just going to charge you probably for disassembling and reassembling because it's easier if they have bare parts to work with. But yeah, again, this is just one solid Cerakote color. And Cerakote is the best finish if you want a color that will last a long time. Now we're getting into spray paint, and spray paint has its pros and cons. So I have a professionally spray painted gun, and then I have probably not a professionally spray painted gun. And again, I'll give you guys a close-up of these. This one is chambered, so I'm not going to play with it too much. But this is an LMT that I bought a couple years ago, and this one was spray painted by some person that sold it to us. And you'll notice it's not perfect, and it's got a lot of wear on it because they shot it, I've shot it. The barrel here is missing a lot of its finish. But honestly, it really does look cool, especially the more it wears down to the metal back underneath it, it just gives it that kind of like military clone vibe. And that was what I was going for here. This is basically an M4 A1 build. Again, it's an LMT with a monolithic quad rail. We got Daniel Defense fixed iron sights, an Aimpoint Pro, some Knights accessories, and a Streamlight ProTac light. It's set up to run my Surefire suppressor. And this gun shoots amazing. The spray paint doesn't hurt it, but yeah, now the one thing with spray painting a gun is since it's not necessarily a professional paint job and it does wear faster, spray painting your gun normally devalues it, at least to a store. You know, some people might not care if they're buying it privately, but to a store, you are going to devalue your gun by spray painting it. But this is just kind of like your own creativity. I've seen a lot of really cool patterns. This one's very basic with just tan and some dark brown stripes on it. And it looks good. I enjoy it and I don't mind having it. I've actually debated respray painting it, but it looks really good the way it is to me. So I don't mind that it's all worn. And yeah, if it ever looks too bad, I'll just spray paint it myself. So that's the nice thing about spray paint is you can make it what you want and it's relatively cheap. Spray paint cans aren't too expensive. I know they've gone up in price, but still a lot cheaper than Cerakote. And if you don't like it, you can strip it down and redo it again. So this is kind of for more of you hands-on people. I want to do it at some point to one of my guns. I just actually haven't spray painted my own gun yet because I bought this one and then I got this one. So we'll talk about this next. So what we have here is a professionally spray painted gun. And I mean, you don't have to be professional when you spray paint a gun, but this one I bought from the factory this way. This is a Type A Gordon carbine. So if you don't know who Gary Gordon is, he is one of the snipers that was killed during the events of Black Hawk Down that took place in 1993 in Africa. So that movie kind of talks about it and there's a lot of stories about it. But this is a tribute gun to what he was kind of rocking back then. It's a 12.5-inch SPR. I bought an Otter Creek suppressor for it. Now the suppressor I'm actually debating, well, I'm not debating, I'm probably gonna get it Cerakoted to match the gun because since these get so hot, I want the paint to last a lot longer. So I'm probably gonna get this Cerakoted to match the gun. But this is a spray paint job from the factory. And I say professional because those guys have been doing it for so long. They've probably made maybe hundreds or thousands of guns that are spray painted. So I would say they professionally did it. They're doing it better than I can do it. But spray paint still has its limits. I've had this gun for about a year now. I think I'm like 500-600 rounds through it. And it is wearing and just running drills through it. It's getting scratched up in different places where if you had a Cerakote gun and you did the same thing, it's not going to scratch or it's not going to scratch as easily. So this gun is getting some wear points on it. Also, when you spray paint it, you're spray painting everything as it is in place. So on a Cerakote gun, they take everything off and relatively speaking, like the inside of your mag well is getting painted, the inside of your rail, the inside of your upper receiver, it's all getting Cerakoted. Where spray paint, it's just the outside, the exterior of the gun. But what's nice is you spray paint everything. So you got your iron sights, your optic, basically everything. So spray painting requires a lot of taping off. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube talking about how to do it. One of these days I will make my first spray paint video for you guys. I think it'd be fun and I'm not gonna be good my first time, but it's just practice. So yeah, this again was spray painted by Type A. I bought it from them as a factory SBR. It comes with a spray painted magazine. And yeah, so everything's just as is when they spray paint. You can touch it up. 9-Hole Reviews on YouTube, he did a really good spray painting video. He got really OCD with it. I'd probably do the same thing. So the prep work takes more time than the painting itself from what it looks like. But with spray paint, since like your trigger, your grip, your handguard, like this is a plastic handguard, paint's gonna rub off a lot easier than Cerakote because as your hand sweats and rubs it, it's gonna rub the paint off. And this gun already has some wearing off on the grip and the handguard. But again, I think it gives it some character and I really enjoy it. And if it gets really bad down the road, I might retouch it up with my own paint. But yeah, they did a really good base job. Even on the safety selector, you could tell that in between coats, they moved the safety selector so they would get underneath it. Where my LWRC, well, not my LWRC, I have that too, but my LMT here, there's like a black mark under the safety because they just spray painted it while it was on fire. So yeah, I thought that was cool. And again, I really like this, but that is just kind of some of the pros and cons of spray paint versus anodizing versus Cerakote. I think it's all cool depending on what you want it for, but those are just kind of my thoughts on it. But again, I think all of them look good in their own way, and I enjoy having them all. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for my next video. And then Cerakote mag versus spray paint mag.